going on, freaks? Hello. What the hell is going on? Huh?
You want to hear something?
For what? My wife thinks I should wear shoes in the hotel room because the floor is too dirty. So I'll put them on. But man, I was looking at when I did that documentary, they were taking pictures of me. Man, I got to do some work on my belly, man. That thing is, Jesus, not the greatest. Got to be honest with you. I was doing so well, and then when I got COVID, my lungs didn't work for like 3 months, and I still ate food though. Haven't been able to get rid of it. So we got some work to do there, that's for damn sure. Well, you can't really tell on the documentary. I mean, the documentary, they had you sit in this chair where you're really low, so your feet are kind of up and it kind of crunches in your belly, so it looks worse than it really is. But, you know, it's not great anyways, so. I don't know, I can just tell. Those pictures that one of the guys sent me that was on the crew, definitely some good incentive for me. Yeah. Yeah, it was at the end of May, and early May is when I got done with COVID, but the effects of it were like another 2.5 months where I could get my wind back, you know. Yeah, it's a blank screen, yeah. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Wow. Anyways. Yeah, no, but it looked worse than that one in the documentary picture. I remember seeing it. Didn't look that great. That's for sure. Yeah, I was like, ugh, yuck, you know. So, hey, good incentive there. Of course, it'll be. That's what I'll look like on the screen. Except it's straight on, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I don't know what that means, Betty Fremont. Jesus. Namaste. So what's going on? Yeah, it's weird how some of these hotels you go into, their upload speed's amazing. Their download sucks, but upload is pretty good. I mean, like better than most places. You know, like 40 megabytes a second, which is ridiculous for streaming. It means I could be way higher than I currently am right here. Hey, thanks, Kathy Chapin. Appreciate it. Yep. Yeah, today we drove 780 miles. That's kind of a lot. I think we left at, like in Portland time we left, because our car clocks haven't changed, so I think that was 7 in the morning until 6, actually it might have been like 6 something at night. Yeah. Yeah, Ethan's mom is going to CrimeCon. And like what? Who? You know, like what does it matter? Like I don't get it. You two have and still making a great time. Yeah. We got there in 3 days, and we're on the same pace back. Kind of staying in the same place that we were. Unfortunately, we didn't get to get the same hotel because I guess on Fridays they're pretty booked up. So we had to get the 4 stars. And you get in there and it's like, smells like it's probably in a smoking room at some point. The shower door seal isn't on there. The chair for the computer didn't rise, so I was like reaching up like a zombie would to reach the keyboard. And only one towel a person, and wow. And it was still $200, if you can believe that, for something that crappy. Yeah. So hey, if you guys would like to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates channel on our journey home and whatever, thank you very much. Let's see. Did Cairo pop in there? Thanks, Dina. Now we know how Cairo... Yeah, Cairo, I mean, it's like, man, I don't know how he does what he does. All day, every day, driving. And, jeez, water tastes funny. Ugh. What the heck was that? Was that? Oh. I wasn't sure what that was. All right, well, make it a week, Amber. Make it a week. All right. When people say they quit smoking yesterday, let's see. You got to keep going. It's hard. Once you get to 2 weeks, you'll be good. Okay. 2 weeks, your body won't need it anymore. Yeah, I know it's 72 hours, but it's still, Once you've gone 2 weeks, your body will say that you don't need it anymore, but you'll mentally want one when you drink or something like that. Yeah. Chewing is the hardest thing to quit. It's like straight nicotine right into your... Yeah, you can do it. Do it. So you're quitting for your birthday or what? What are you doing? Yeah, I'll be going to CrimeCon again. I just don't like it when it's on the East Coast. It's like, it's just, I mean, why should I every time have to drive that far? We've only had like one over here, the Vegas one. Why not have it in Nebraska? Or like, if it was in Nebraska, I'd probably go every single year, Because who cares? That drive isn't really too bad. You can do it in basically like a day, a day and a half if you wanted to. I don't like flying. Plus, you can't bring all your shit. Like when you go to CrimeCon, you have to bring a booth. All these, not a booth, but all the stuff that goes around it and stuff. And like packing all that shit up and lugging it around to airports and cabs and everything just sucks. But yeah, I don't like flying. Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks, Bridget. Yeah. Yeah, I just got an email showing me all these Brad Holder photos and saying, there's nothing to see here. Wow. That's a person that's buying into the bullshit. For all of you out there, most of you watching right now have not followed the Delphi case since the beginning. in this group right here. Everybody, the people watching right now, most of you have only followed it the last maybe couple years. All right, that's just the reality. You might even pretend that you've been following it longer, right? But that's true. So you guys have no clue that everything that's in that document has been discussed over and over and over, ad nauseum, for years and years and years. And there's people that focused only on those people, and they're the ones that are helping out the defense team. I can tell by the writing and the style. There's not one lawyer in the world that would sound like those people. That's the writing in there. If you do, you shouldn't be a lawyer. You sound like a complete buffoon, idiotic person. All right? So you get a new profession or whatever. But sadly, that writing style is what people on social media, they like that garbage. Oh, ooh, it sounds just like the lady in my Facebook group who's sarcastic. It's great. It's sick, you guys. Yeah, so unfortunately, so many people are new, and they might claim, oh yeah, I've been following. No, you haven't then. If this Odin stuff is affecting you, that means you haven't been following the case, at least not in the first year and a half. I can tell you that right now, right? That's just the truth. That Brad Holder's name was out there at the very beginning, and I'm pretty sure police probably, I mean, I don't know because I'm not in the police there, but his name was brought up. They looked into him. He's been cleared, okay? So what this document's trying to say, though, is that they shouldn't have been cleared, and the only reason they weren't is because Odinists are in the police force. See, can't you guys see the conspiracy that they're building up here? The Indiana State Police placed 2 Odinists inside the jail with Richard Allen, you guys. Wow. Whoa. They placed him there to lean on. But how come? Can anybody explain to me why they would do that? Anybody, just type something in. Why would, if Richard Allen is not an Odinist or a Odinista, whatever the hell you want to call him, if he's not one of those people, why did they plant them at the prison with him? Come on, go ahead. Give me something. Give me a good reason. Yeah, something that makes sense. Anybody? Anybody at all? Anybody? I'm not going to ask it again, Shelley. Either show up on time or forget it. Let's see. What do we got here? But Cindy, that's not. You didn't answer my question. That's not that's not an answer there. Jesus, man, think through things a little bit. Okay, I know, but give me an answer why, Tyler. That was my question, not your thing there. What is the reason why the Indiana State Police, in their minds, or whatever, however you want to look at it, give me a good reason why they would need to plant 2 Odinites into the jail with Richard Allen. But they're not even implying what you're saying, Cindy. Yeah, you're not understanding what I'm asking. Anybody? Yeah, see, there isn't any reason. So the thing is if they're implying it, if they're putting 2 Odinites in the jail with him, that means that they think Richard Allen is an Odinite, right? Because if he wasn't an Odinista, Odinite, whatever the hell you want to call him, then why would they care if he was in jail for a murder that they created? that they did. Why would they? God, they'd be pumped. They'd be saying, "Hey, Richard, is there anything you need, man? I mean, can we get you, a shake or some kind of something to eat?" Anybody? Yeah, there's nothing. Okay. Doesn't make any sense. And no matter how you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. And so Cindy kept bringing up, oh, the intimidation. Right, but why were they wanting to intimidate him? If he's not an Odinite, then why do other Odinites need to intimidate him? What is the reason there? See, that's what I'm getting at. It doesn't make any sense at all, but the defense is implying that they planted Odin people in there. They're implying that the Indiana State Police is actually embedded with Odinites, and therefore they wanted to pin it on somebody else to take the heat off of them. That's what they're implying the way they're writing this. You get that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. They're just throwing it out there. So I think we were on page, I think we were right around in here. Yeah, we already read this one, right? I think we were on, we were on page 37, I think. All right, but we're really having a struggling day on the super chats and whatnot to help support the channel. We do this on a daily basis. So if you'd like to help this channel, great. If you want to send in money to charities on your own, go ahead and do that. But if you'd like to help me make an income on this channel and also allow me to, like we donate over 50% of the net revenue at the end of each month to places like NCMEC, Texas Equisearch, RAIN, and a DNA fund that we have. We're like Audio Chuck does the same thing we do. Okay? So I'd appreciate it. For those out there that can afford to help, that would be great. Thank you. Like Tamara right there, for example. Not today, but tomorrow. And Alley79. Thank you. And one of the questions actually asked in the documentary was, do you think it's okay for people in the true crime community to make money? And I said, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, here's what I think. I think people, and I said, yes, of course I think it's okay. Just like you're having me on your documentary and you're going to make ad revenue, right? Yeah, so yes, I think it's absolutely fine. I do think, though, if you're going to be a monetized YouTube channel in the true crime space, that you have to do it ethically and factually as possible and try to be rational and put out really, like you're really doing it the right way. Okay, people can do whatever the hell they want, but I feel like this is a genre where if you have people putting out trash intentionally for money, then it really is all about them to get subs and so forth and the money. Now, in my case, I do try to make money on the channel, but I also try to make a huge difference out there. And you guys are the reason that I'm able to make a difference. If we brought in like half the amount that we're doing now, I wouldn't be able to do it because I have to justify spending as many hours as I do doing things for the show and doing the shows themselves. 21 hours a week at least live, right? So then there's a lot of time preparing and so forth. But they asked those kind of questions. It was kind of odd because it seemed like the troll YouTubers that were also in the documentary, they're the ones that are always saying, grifter, look at Gray, he's e-begging and shit like that. Well, look I've got a job, an actual job outside of this thing, okay? But I'm doing this show to make extra income plus be able to do a lot of great things for various charities and so forth with part of the money, okay? So the thing is you can call it whatever you want to call it, but there's no problem. I don't like doing it, but I'm going to mention it because sometimes people just aren't thinking about it when you're doing your show. All right, so when you say, hey, if you'd like to help support the channel, that'd be great. And then maybe people go, oh, yeah, hey, Gray, here's $5. Thanks for all the stuff you did. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But they try to make it seem like there's something wrong with it. And, you know, it just is what it is. You can think about it however you want, but this channel is given $168,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money since January 2020 to charities and a DNA fund. And I'm absolutely proud of that, and all the freaks should be proud of that too, that have all been supporting the channel for all these years and throughout that entire time. All right, so there you go. Yeah, most of you get it, but I don't ever see any of you jumping in defending me against the people saying it on a regular basis. I see like people trashing and trashing and trashing and trashing, and very little sort of, oh yeah, you bastard. No. Well, I do see it from some people. Like Miss Angels is always out there supporting and things like that. And a lot of you guys, I mean, you know, it's just not as vigorous as I would, you know. You probably aren't reading the same shit that I am now, you know, because people see something and they send it to me. And I don't really want any of you going over there and reading it either, so it's not like I share it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Mary or Marie. Yeah, I guess, you know, it's hard to defend somebody when you don't see it, because I don't actually share you guys with the stuff people say too often. Yeah, that's amazing, man. It's amazing what's going on out there. Yeah. Anyways, we're on page 37 here. So let's see. Let's just, now they're doing that same thing again. Once the man acting alone maneuvered Abby's left hand. So they're saying, once the man acting alone, trying to be sarcastic, maneuvered Abby's left hand and left arm through the bottom of the pink shirt, he would have to use his dexterity. Why do they keep talking about dexterity? Are they going to show later that Richard Allen isn't dexterous or something? He would have to use the dexterity to move Abby's left hand and left arm towards the left armhole of the pink shirt. God, these people are ridiculous. Look at the detail in that. What a stupid, let's see. Once the man acting alone maneuvered Abby's left hand and left arm through the bottom of the pink shirt, he would have to use his dexterity to move Abby's left hand and left arm towards the left armhole of the pink shirt. Wow, what a clever thinking there. That really makes me think there's two people then, because how could... Jesus. Once the man acting alone had used the dexterity to move Abby's left hand and left arm towards the left armhole in the pink shirt, he would have had to use his dexterity to pull the left arm through the left armhole on the pink shirt. Once the left armhole was successfully pulled through the left armhole of the pink shirt, the man acting alone would have used his dexterity by picking up Abby's right arm and placing it in the bottom entry hole of the pink shirt. Once the man acting... Do you guys think that this is... It's so juvenile that it's embarrassing. A judge reading this would probably go, this is so stupid, I'm not even going to read the rest. Okay? Because once you do something like this, it's like when somebody lies at trial, you're not required to believe anything else they said. This is the same thing. After reading so much embarrassing, ridiculously childish stuff, you know, that's how I should read this thing. Hold on, let me go through this one. In this document, written by childish idiots, they said, once the man acting alone had used his dexterity to maneuver Abby's right hand and right arm towards the right armhole in the pink shirt, he would have had to use his dexterity to pull the right arm through the right armhole in the pink shirts. In this document, written by rodeo clowns and idiots, they said once the man acting alone had successfully maneuvered Abby's right arm and left arms through the armhole, then he would have had to use the dexterity by using his hand to lift the upper portion of Abby's body while using the other hand to pull the pink shirt towards Abby's midsection until the shirt was properly dressed on Abby. And again, in the document written by total rodeo clowns and idiots, they said additionally the man acting alone while using his one hand to pull the pink shirt towards Abby's midsection would have to have had lift Abby's body high enough off the ground to avoid any dirt on the pink shirt, as the photograph showed that the pink shirt was clean. In this document written by total morons and idiots, it says it's likely that once the murderer redressed Abby in her pink shirt, that the pink shirt never touched the damp, dirty ground, as there was no dirt on the shirt whatsoever until the wet dirt found on Libby's backside, and the wet dirt also found on the sweatshirt of Abby was ultimately dressed. In this document written by total morons and idiots, it says this would mean that once the man redressed Abby in the pink shirt, that it would have likely held up the upper portion of Abby's body with one hand while grabbing the sweatshirt with the other, placing the sweatshirt on Abby. In this document written by total idiots and morons, it said in order to put the sweatshirt on Abby, once he was able to locate Libby's sweatshirt, then this man acting alone likely positioned at least one of Abby's arms above her head so as to make it easier for this man to put Libby's sweatshirt onto Abby's body. In this document written by total morons and idiots, it says once he positioned Abby's arms above her head, this man acting alone then would have to take the opening of the sweatshirt, the outstretched arms, in this document written by total idiots and morons, once the position Libby's sweatshirt near Abby's arms, this man acting alone would have had to maneuver the left hand and arm in order to remove it into the bottom opening of the sweatshirt. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once he stuffed the left hand and arm into the sweatshirt, this man acting alone would have had to position the right arm into the bottom opening of the sweatshirt. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once both arms had been placed into the entrance of the opening of Libby's sweatshirt, then this man acting alone would have had to use the dexterity to pull the sweatshirt down towards Abby's left head, likely using one of his hands and the other being used to prop up Abby's body so that it wasn't touching the ground again, as the pink shirt showed dirt. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone started pulling the sweatshirt down towards Abby's head, he would have had to make sure Abby's left arm and left hand were also being pulled inside the sweatshirt, left armhole towards the hole in the end of the sweatshirt, left sleeves. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone started pulling the sweatshirt down towards Abby's head, he would also have to make sure that Abby's right arm and right hand were along being pulled inside the sweatshirt, right armhole towards the hole at the end of the sweatshirt, right sleeve. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone had successfully guided both right arm and left arm into the respective armholes, then this man would have had to use the dexterity to lift Abby's body with one hand while using the other hand to pull the sweatshirt down towards Abby's midsection, making sure that the sweatshirt was pulled over Abby's head. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone had secured the first bra and the second bra and the pink shirt and then sweatshirt onto Abby's dead body, then the whole had to locate Libby's jeans and went. Hey, thanks, Jessica Schubach. Come on, isn't this super chat worthy, guys? Come on, let's go. Let's get going here. Once this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone had secured the first bra and second bra and pink shirt and then sweatshirt onto Abby's dead body, then he would have had to locate Libby's jeans, which were found on Abby. In this document written by morons and idiots, once this man acting alone had located Libby's jeans, this man acting alone would then have to place the opening of Libby's jeans on Abby's feet. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once he placed the opening of Libby's jeans at Abby's feet, this man acting alone would then have to use his dexterity to lift Abby's feet from her dead body enough off the ground to order the start to the process of maneuvering Libby's jeans onto Abby's dead body. This document written by total morons and idiots, first this man acting alone would have lifted either the right or left leg and foot into the opening of the jeans. In this document written by total morons and idiots, next the man acting alone would have lifted the remaining leg and foot into the opening of the jeans. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once he was able to position Abby's feet into the opening of Libby's jeans, this man acting alone would have had to use his dexterity to lift Abby's hips and legs in order to maneuver jeans up Abby's dead body. Oh, God, these people. Where was I? In this body written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone was able to maneuver the jeans several inches towards Abby's midsection, he would have had to continue to readjust by lifting the body with one hand while grabbing the jeans, pulling them towards Abby's midsection with the other hand. In this document written by total morons and idiots, this man acting alone would continue this adjustment and readjustment using both of his hands until the jeans were ultimately completely on Abby's dead body. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone had successfully completed the task of dressing Abby in the first bra, the second bra, and the pink shirt, Libby's sweatshirt and jeans, he would then have to locate Abby's Converse tennis shoes. Oh my God, that did it, man. That does it for me. The Converse tennis shoes. Thanks to Mara, Eugenie, and Kathy Chapin and Jessica Schubach. Yeah. I mean, honest to God, you guys see what we're reading here? This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Okay? It's absolutely embarrassing that something like this made it into some sort of legal process. Of course, the murder sheet and whatnot, they said, wow, it was really fascinating. It's such a fascinating document. Wow, it's so great. Because I know you guys want me to say that on your show. Hey, Angela, I actually hope they do get wind of it. Okay, because they would actually appreciate what I'm doing. And that just shows that you're ignorant and not very smart. Okay? Right. This document here is a joke. Okay? And the fact that you think it's a serious document and serious shows that you're very dense. Okay, I'm sorry but you're just, wow. Think through it a little bit there, Angela. Do better, okay? Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. This is totally how Judge is reading it. Yeah, that is how he's reading it. That's what I'm saying. Hey, thanks, Eugenie. Appreciate it. Yeah, don't ever come back again, Angela. Yeah. Look at how stupid this person. Appreciate. I'll come back after you've read all 136 pages, and your members are like, "Wow, the receipts." No, it's okay. It's okay, Angela. It's okay. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. If you think that this right here, what we're reading here, is something worthy of somebody reading in a legitimate way, then you're an embarrassment. Okay, I'm just letting you know that. Okay. Don't worry, we'll go over the whole thing. There are interesting elements in there that, if true, create problems. But the way this document is written and this whole section here is a joke. Right. So anyways, let's get back to what we were doing. Thanks, Kami. Yeah, we are getting close. We're about 9 days away from the end of the month. Pretty soon I'm gonna, likely I'm going to be setting up my office and everything at some point, and it should be pretty. Yeah, it should be pretty good. The shower door still isn't in there yet, though. So in this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone has you know what? I don't even want to go through the rest of these. There's nothing even insightful or interesting in them. You know, it's... Although we did say we would go through them. So I guess I have to. Let's see. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once this man acting alone had successfully completed the task of dressing Abby in the first bra, the second bra, and the pink shirt, Libby's sweatshirt, and jeans, he would then have to locate Abby's Converse tennis shoes. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone had located Abby's black Converse tennis shoes with dark lace, he would have used his dexterity. Why do they keep saying dexterity, you guys? Why do they keep saying that? This dexterity part. Does anybody have any ideas on that? They say dexterity in every... It was, you know what this is almost like? Like it was written by somebody that doesn't speak English, and then it was translated from a different language. Right? Doesn't it have that sound to it? Oh, I'm smarter than you are. FVKY RY1. I can tell you that right now, based on your comment there. Yeah. Let's see. Because they... Oh, really, Gray? What's your IQ? My dad could beat up your dad, Gray. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, good for you. Wow. Yeah, actually, it has that feel to it, Mike. I got to be honest with you. It does feel like AI wrote it. So in this document written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone had completed the task of placing Abby's left Converse tennis shoe with the white laces back onto Abby's left foot, he would have had to grab Abby's other tennis shoe, the right tennis shoe. In this document, wow. Nobody could do that alone. How could somebody grab a right tennis shoe by himself? That is crazy. How does somebody grab a tennis shoe by themselves? In this document written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone had grabbed Abby's right tennis shoe, he would have used his dexterity to lift Abby's right leg with one hand while using the other hand to place Abby's right Converse tennis shoes onto Libby's right foot. In this document written by total morons and idiots, once the man acting alone had placed both shoes on Abby's feet, he would have had to locate the right twig, sticks, and could have... I can't do it, man. I can't do it. It's literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I apologize. Is there any point in this that's good? Like, wow, you're right. Once he located those certain clothing items, he would gather them. Okay, you see that? That's a point of why he couldn't have acted alone. Once he located those certain clothing items, he would gather them. Wow, you can't do that alone, I can tell you that. It's crazy. Well, there's nothing really to focus on, Zozo. You know? And I guess if I do it that way, it's just not something you can listen to. Yeah, there's nothing to focus in on because there's nothing to... It's just gibberish, right? You can't read through that and go, wow, that's a good point, man. That's fantastic. Oh, whoa. Once the man acting alone was able to leave, after exerting all the energy needed to complete all those tasks, he would have had to walk up a steep hill for several hundred yards through some thickets and brush until he was able to get to Road 300 North. That's total bullshit right there. You'd have to go maybe 100 yards up a hill in the winter when there's almost no other branches or anything. So that's totally bogus. And not only that, lots of people can do this. And lots of people can do it. They're trying to say that he couldn't have been alone, and it's dumb. Although this man acting alone was somehow smart enough to keep his DNA, fingerprints, footprints, hair, and other evidence out of the crime scene, this man acting alone, well, I'll tell you what, a man acting alone could do it easier than multiple people, don't you think? So that's sort of an anti-argument. One person was likely to keep their DNA out of the crime scene, where multiple people, it would be difficult. Wouldn't you agree with that? It's one of the dumbest things I've ever read in my life, Zozo. And there's really nothing, there's not one good point in it. There's nothing in it. It's just, like, here's what it's like. If I was sitting, this is what they're trying to do, is like, let's say you've got clothing, and let's say you're just laying on a bed, and you have a caretaker that needs to change your clothes because you're paralyzed or something. They made it like 20 bullet points on explaining how it's impossible for one caretaker to change clothing off of some person, and yet they do it every single day. Okay, they do it all the time, and one person often. I mean, my wife was well, she still is a CNA. She just does a different type of job with it. She used to lift people up all the time. She's tiny. I mean, she's like 100 pounds, right? You'd lift up really heavy people, right?
Yeah, 300 pounds.
Yeah, 300 pounds by yourself, right? And you're able to kind of slip them up a little bit and move something underneath them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she could do it all by herself. I mean, she weighs 100 pounds and she's like 4 foot something. And she could do it and all by herself. And here's this document saying, wow, so you had to, now you took the guy's pants off and all by himself, he had to move the leg down the pant. And then all by himself, he'd have to take the other leg and pull the other pant leg off the pant. Then he'd have to, by himself, unbuckle the pant. Then to take the pant off, he'd have to then, by himself, lift him up and then pull the pant off of him. Then by himself, he'd have to... You see how dumb that is? It's ludicrous, all right? Yeah. Well, I have the PDF file, so... You always have to download, whenever you see a PDF file of a document, download that right away. Do not spend time reading anything on the site. You got to get the PDF file. Next one. Once the man acting alone was able to make his way onto 300 North to walk down the road in broad daylight, open to the public, rather than in the woods under the cover, this man then walked some distance westbound on 300 North before allegedly being spotted by Sarah. But how does this help you when you're saying it was multiple people? I mean, it's so, you get what I'm saying? The logic in this, if I was on their team and I had stuff that they had, I bet you $1 million I could have made a much more cogent argument with the same material that they have. If that was my job to do it, it would be absolutely devastating. This right here is embarrassing. You read it and just go, God, this is wow. It's scary. It's almost scary how shitty it is. One man, 5 foot 4 inches in stature, handled all those tasks. Yeah, my wife is 4 foot something and 100 pounds. And did way harder stuff than any of that all the time on a daily basis. Okay? So think about that for a minute when you're trying to, so that's what this was about. The next sentence is, one man, 5 foot 4 in stature, handled all these tasks. You could almost make a video on each part of these things. Once the man acting alone had finished placing the sticks and branches on Abby's body in the specific way that he desired, he would then have to place the rune on the tree where Libby had likely been slayed. What's hard about that? You get what I'm saying? Like, what point are you saying here? Once the man acting alone was through placing the sticks described in paragraph 75, he would finally have he would finally have laid the last stick on the line along the left side of Abby's body towards the middle of her head, with all 3 sticks intersecting at the same exact location on the left side. But why would it take multiple people to do that? But yeah, but it's so dumb that it negates everything else, Cindy. You see what I'm saying? Like, all the other stuff in there, this part here negates it all, because you look at it and you go, this is what their mindset is. I mean, the other sections have things that, if true, are, and they can't be rebutted, are going to be a big problem. Okay? And it might actually change the level of certainty that I have. Okay? And that's just the reality, and that's how everybody should be. For example, let me just say this, what I'm about to say first. Would it make it, for example, the information that's in the probable cause absolutely shows that it's Richard Allen. But if it turns out that the witness, Sue that we called her, at the bridge, who saw Richard Allen standing on platform 1, doesn't think that is him at all and has the brown hair and stuff like that, that's a problem right there, except we see Richard Allen on videos, the video that Libby took anyways, and Richard Allen admits to being there. But let's say they can't prove that Richard Allen actually said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30, but he was there from 12 to, there's all those things. If it doesn't stay basically in the same structure that it is right now after the rebuttal, then it'll still be likely, depending on what they have, but it's not the same level that it is right now. Because right now, this is like, they got Richard Allen pinned in there, and the bullet doesn't mean anything. Yeah, Richard Allen's 5'4". We've only discussed this 9,000 times on this show. I mean, it's like, he's 5'4", everybody. 5'4", 5'5", whatever you want to call it. He's a really small guy. Years ago, I came up with, I think it was 5'4" to 5 something, by doing this thing where I laid the videos still that we have, and then was able to do it in a way where I was able to reproduce the right rail, and knowing that it's 6'8", I think, between the 2 rails. And then I sort of rotated his body, keeping him on the same sort of gap line. And then I made an even segments of the spacing, knowing that it was 6'8", and then came up with that. But yeah, we've been mentioning the 5'4", to 5'5" for... No, he isn't, Mike. He isn't, though. So he isn't 5'6". Yeah. Just like Brian Koberger isn't 6'9". Okay, he's not a giant. He's 6 foot tall. Yeah. Yes, and Brad Holder has an alibi verified by police. Yeah. Yeah, but what does that matter, Amber? I mean, God, he's an Odinite, man. He's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. Yeah. But the bodies weren't found that far. I would think they would have found them that after. No, you're wrong, Mercy. You're wrong. Hey, thanks, CR up there. I appreciate it. And K-Me. Yeah. See, here's what people don't realize. See, there's all these newbies that think they got it all. They're on the ball. They got this thing all figured out. But the reality is the bridge is on one side of the river, or creek, and Abby and Libby took photographs on that side of the creek, on the bridge, right? So they're on that side of the creek. So, and those were posted on social media. So when people went out searching, they searched all around on that side of the creek, all around. Nobody expected them to have crossed the creek and be over near, like, Ron Logan's property, for example. So they didn't really do a deep search or anything like that over there. And if they were looking for live people, not looking on the ground for bodies. And people were calling names and so forth. So there's all these people out there that show up, a day late, dollar short for the case and have the, almost like, I would almost say audacity to have these really strong opinions on something they really have no clue about. Yeah. Let's see. Brian is taller than 6. No, he isn't, though. He isn't, Mike. Yeah. He isn't. His driver's license says 6 feet on it. Yeah. So, are you saying that he put the wrong height? Anybody that was 6 foot who's actually 6'2" would always want to say 6'2". Well, not if he planned it before. Like for years, he knew he was going to be a killer and wanted to throw people off. Yeah, his driver's license says 6 foot on it. So you have to rethink what you think, Mike. Yeah, do a little bit better. Try to get the answers out there. I don't think so, Mercy. I don't think you have been. Yeah, they weren't placed there later. So if you've been following it since day one, Mercy, you would have already known that their bodies were just moved a short distance from where they were killed. So I don't buy into what you just said a second ago. Man, I'm going to block True Crime Recliner because he just says hello to Zozo and me, not everybody else. And Zozo, it's like... it's this weird thing that you do every time. Oh, man. Jesus. Let's see. Koberger's team is definitely wishing they came up with more than driving around after seeing... I don't even know what that means, Marie. We weren't even talking about Koberger. Yeah. This isn't Koberger night here. Let's just pick a random one in here. Another possible explanation as to, wow, that's a point there after you said all these other things. Because the river is very close to the murder scene, the man acting alone could have also walked to the river. So what you're doing is you're theorizing how this all happened, but you're implying that he couldn't have done it alone. Also walked the river following the cutting of the girls' necks in order to wash clean the blood from his hands before touching Abby's naked body. So look at this. This is so stupid. It's like this person went, oh, I've got a cool theory I can add into the point. Now look at this is how he could have done it. Yeah. Okay. And then another possible explanation is how Abby had no visible blood on her body or clothes other than near the site of the wound, is that the man acting alone had changed Abby on a tree, stringing her up by her feet. Oh, God, Jesus. Is that all you got, man? Whew. Wow. Unbelievable. That's weird. Let's see. Do we have the name of the people who wrote this? Yeah, these are YouTubers that helped out the defense team. The defense team didn't write this. I actually think I know who wrote these things. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah. There it is. There's True Crime Recliner. The feeling isn't mutual. Let's see. Although she might say it just to make you feel good. But let's see. What do I do with this? Let's see. Yeah, I bet the defense wishes they were defending Brad Holder instead of Richard. Oh, yeah. Well, Cindy, I was talking to Cindy on the phone earlier, driving for a while. Some of the freaks helped me kill some time, But she had a pretty good point. Is like, why isn't the defense team also adding the Kleins in there as their sort of, as optional characters, right? Some of that. And I guess maybe it's because, it's interesting, right? Because they went after the Kleins for a long time. And they've never... it seems like that could have been something they bring up in there too. Like, wouldn't you say something like, isn't the Anthony Schatz profile communicated with Libby's phone on that day, and yet you think my client is the one that did it? A catfishing account? Don't you think it's more related to him? That seems like that would be... oh, yeah, well, there you go. Maybe it was Amber. Cindy's admitting stealing it from her. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I actually think they're related, actually. So, yeah, I mean, if you take Richard Allen out of the equation, you'd almost have to think that Keegan Kline and that kind of stuff. So here's the thing, everybody, is what I talk about is like, oh, that's so yesterday, Gray. We're past the Klines now. We're on to other things. We're even past Richard Allen. We are on to the Odinites and the Knights of the Round Table. It's amazing, everybody. Gilgamesh is alive. It's almost like these people play Dungeons and Dragons, don't you think? Yeah. Well, you guys, we're almost at a normal goal from the 2 shows that I've done. So, again, if you'd like to help support the channel, that would be awesome. Yeah. Not quite there yet. Not quite there. Well, who's talking about weight and height anymore? Yeah, it was just... I used to play a game called Wizardry on the Apple II Plus. I had a place called Gilgamesh in there. I might know it's a biblical thing, but... so feel free to hit that like button. Do whatever you want. Welcome, Jay Clark. Awesome. Yeah. I'm sure it'll piss you off at some point, but hey, don't let that bother you. Okay, one man, 5'4" in stature, handled all these tasks, from the abduction at the high bridge, to crossing over the cold flowing river, to the subduing of one girl while the other is killed, to the killing of the second girl, waiting while Abby died a slow death, then slowing. What do you mean by waiting? Why would he have to wait there? See, you're just... Then clothing Abby with very little to... So after he injures Abby, he then focuses on Libby over here. Thanks, Kami and Cindy J. Waiting while Abby died a slow death, then clothing Abby with very little and blood transfer on said clothing, to the arrangement of the sticks into runes, to the painting of the F rune on the tree. That's if it is a painted... It isn't a painted anything. It's just dots, like spatter, basically. To throwing of the clothing items in the river, the departure from the crime scene, and finally to traversing hundreds of yards through the forest and then up a steep hill and then another 100 or more yards until finally reaching 300 north. Yeah, we read that. I don't know. Have you read this True Crime Recliner, if you're out there? I would think you would think it was just ludicrous like I do. True Crime Recliner said, Zozo's far out. Jay Clark said, I never get pissed off, Gray. Oh, that's good. Thanks, CR. But Gray, what gives you the right to collect revenue for generating the best source content regarding a case of enormous public interest, then donate many thousands of it to people affected? I don't know what gives me the right to do that. I feel like I don't know. I guess that's wrong, man. I guess that's wrong. Let's see. At this August 8th, 2023 deposition, Sheriff Liggett was adamant that one person and one person alone, Richard Allen, was involved in the murder of Abby and Libby. However, off the record, Liggett doesn't believe that one man was capable of pulling off those tasks, especially in such a short period of time. See, I wouldn't be shocked at all if there was, you know, it would be surprising, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was another person, like at the crime scene or something like that. Because we don't have any information there was or wasn't anybody. Okay, but a one person could do all of this and easily. Yeah, I think it's disgusting, True Crime Recliner. This is one of the. I even said it on the show with on. I said it on Court TV. I said, I think it was one of the most childishly written and embarrassing. I'm not sure the exact words, but something of that nature that I've ever read. I'm sure that didn't fit the party line, you know, wow, it's so fascinating. Like Murder Sheet gets up there and they act like, oh, it's so fascinating. Oh, it's one, oh, wow, it's just so many things to sink your teeth in. You know, those kind of things. Wow, give me a break. What do you think about the buried bullet and no photos? Well, I don't know. What's wrong with taking the pictures of if it's buried and then picking it out of the ground and there it is? They have pictures of the buried bullet. 3 of them. Yeah. It is what it is, right? I mean, it might. I have a hard time believing they didn't do it by the book. In fact, the guy that used to be a source of mine, he still is when I talk to him, he said that they had each person could only do certain tasks to minimize more people knowing about everything. Yeah, well, the Murder Sheet thought it was just, wow, it's so interesting. You know, because that's what they really want on some of these shows, you know, like, yeah, isn't it though? Now, what about the part with the, you know what this reads like? What was that? What was the lady's name that that faked her abduction, the black lady that just recently, that we covered on this channel? Just nailed it from the beginning again. What was her name? It's like her. It sounds like her story, but longer. You know, this basically an Oompa Loompa was on the side of the road and abducted her. She thought it was a little kid. Yeah, Carly Russell. There you go. Liggett says one thing publicly under oath, but a different thing off the record to his buddies. So you've talked to his buddies, right? One of those buddies is a former sheriff and now chief deputy sheriff, Toby Lesenby. The day after Liggett's August 8, 2023 deposition, Toby Lesenby was subject to a deposition. So this part here is written by a different person. The last segment was written by a different person. This whole document has various people writing different segments. And that's my opinion, okay? Because it's totally different. Like that whole segment we just read up here, all these are written by some absolutely dense person, okay? Now, this stuff here is written sort of like a normal technical, but every once in a while they throw in words that nobody uses in serious documents. Thank you, Lisa Valenzuela. When Toby Lesenby was asked at his deposition how many people he believed were involved in the murder of Abby and Libby, Lesenby provided a different answer than Liggett. The source that I had said that they thought it was a strong person because he moved Libby's body a certain distance, you know. And I think Richard Allen was pretty strong. When you look at his earlier photographs in like 2017, he was a pretty strong guy, you know. He looked totally different, in fact. He indicated that at least 2 people were involved. The reason Lesenby gave as his belief is that at least 2 people were involved in the murder was Lesenby's belief that it would be difficult for one individual to accomplish what occurred. Okay, so it would be difficult but not impossible, right? So maybe if it was difficult, let's say, then it took place, but it did take place in like an hour and 20 minutes. So there was time to do something difficult. When asked if any other law enforcement officers shared this perspective, Lesenby provided a surprising answer based upon what Liggett had testified to under oath the day before. Yes, at least one other law enforcement officer believed multiple people were involved in the murder of Abby and Libby, Tony Liggett. According to Lesenby's sworn statement, it was common for he, Lesenby, and Tony Liggett to have one-on-one conversations, and that Tony Liggett definitely believed that more than one person was involved. Okay, well, he doesn't now, right? I mean, let's see. So here's what the deal with Richard Allen is. Okay, this is what I believe Richard Allen. I'll tell you right now. Here's the thing. When the image of the bridge guy was put out to the public, Richard Allen saw himself and realized that 3 girls saw him there, and he works at the CVS pharmacy, whatever the term, CVS or something. And he thought, man, one of them might recognize me, so I got to get ahead of this. He calls the tip line and says, yeah, I was there, let me talk to somebody. So then he talks to the conservation officer. And he says, yeah, I was there from 1:30 to 3:30, and kind of expecting maybe that they might say, yeah, we've got a photograph of you out there, but they didn't say a damn thing. And then 5 years later, or 6 years later, when on October 13th, 2022, they interview him, he now realizes that, okay, they might be onto me now, and changes that original timeline, thinking they never saw it because he was shocked that I don't know if I'm connected again or not. It automatically tried to reconnect. There you go. Yeah, I was talking though the whole time now, so I mean before. It seems like you guys are joking around about Brian Kohberger again when we're not talking about Brian Kohberger. He's not part of this. Right. So anyways, he came up with the excuse later that it was 12 to 10:30, and or not 12 to 1:30. I mean, and so he was trying to be outside of the range, but it doesn't make sense because the girls saw him about 1:32 or 3 after he parked his car and walked to the Freedom Bridge and entered the trails. So his original statements were true, not what was put in this document. Even though they came up with the silly thing about, well, he could just be, he could have said he was there between a certain time, and then he said he was there. It was some weird explanation they gave. Moved on to what? What do you mean, oh, sorry, we moved on? To what? We moved on a long time ago. I don't know why you guys are even talking about Koberger at this moment. He was barely mentioned about 20 minutes ago. It has nothing to do with this here. So let's see. Yeah, I kind of forgot the train I was on. Yeah. Yeah, the part about the muddy and bloody to me isn't that important. Here's what's important is that you can show that Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. Because that guy on the bridge is the one that kidnapped Abby and Libby, hence felony murder. Right? That's why I believe what I believe. I think that is Richard Allen. I think they prove that that's Richard Allen on that bridge. And it doesn't even need Sue to prove that. You show that Richard Allen's coming in at 1:30 or so. He admits himself that he was standing on platform 1, which would definitely be around 1:40 something. That's it. Richard Allen admits to being on platform 1. And just moments later, a guy wearing exactly what Richard Allen said he was wearing was walking across the bridge towards the girls at 2:13. That's why I am certain that that's Richard Allen. Do I know that there is or isn't some other person that was waiting around at the crime scene? I do not. Richard Allen, however, is part of what happened to the girls. He is, therefore, because he committed a felony by pulling out a gun, forcing the girls down the hill and across the creek, or whatever he did, he abducted them. That's felony murder. That means in the commission of a felony, there was a death occurred. You could be committing a felony, burglarizing a home, and somebody in the house runs away from you, trips down a stairs, and dies. It's felony murder. Okay, even though you had nothing to do with how they, you had nothing to do with. Well, you did have something to do with it because you were there and they were running away and they fell down the stairs, but you didn't intentionally do it. It doesn't matter. I think that's a great law because it really gives a lot of options for prosecutors to cut deals when there's multiple people involved. I wouldn't ever want to see the death penalty in a felony murder case. But I think life, you could definitely do the life without parole. I'd like to keep the death penalty for actual people who, with malice, murder somebody. And it's proven beyond any doubt at all, not reasonable. It should be more rare than it is. You don't really hear many people being executed anymore too often. Doesn't it seem like Richard Allen knew Abby and Libby were going... Yeah, we've said that a million times, Mike. Yeah. We've said that 1,000 times on this show. I mean, it's almost like people, I don't know what it is, but either people don't really watch very often or what, but as we've said many times, it seems like Richard Allen gets to the bridge, he's hustling, and he gets there just in time to be there when the girls get there. And that's when I've said 1,000 times again, that's why I think Kagan Klein is associated with Richard Allen, because he was communicating with Libby apparently that very same day. And if Libby literally went to the bridge to meet Anthony Schatz, then there's no chance that Richard Allen is a lone actor. Like he's just somebody by himself that randomly was there. Don't you agree with that? I mean, haven't you guys heard me say this literally 900 times, you guys? So I always think it's weird when people type it in as if it's new, like some new thought. Instead of just saying, hey, Gray, remember that time when you said... Yeah, it's wild. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's like literally almost every single time I've talked about the case. You have all, yeah. So think about that for a second. If it's true that Libby was actually going there to meet Anthony Schatz, isn't it like almost beyond reasonable, just rational thinking even, that Richard Allen was there and had no idea of Keegan Kline or Anthony Schatz at all. And he just killed them, and Anthony Schatz, person who was going to be there, wasn't able to meet them merely because Richard Allen killed the girls. I mean, give me a break, right? Yeah. It was Keegan Kline, Mike, as we've said literally 1,000 times on the show. Well, they're not stupid questions. It's just like you're saying the same stuff we've said for, like a long time. Yeah, well, I will, Mike. If you respond like that, I'll berate you every second of every day, okay? It's just that every single day we get the same thing over and over after it's been explained 1,000 times. So you're welcome to go watch somebody else who will feed you all the crap that nobody wants to talk about. Hey, Gray, do you think at Bay they had let's see. Do you think at Bay they had a inkling of Kline being attached to the girls, or was this something that smacked him in the face after the public called it out? Do you think they had an inkling that Kline being attached to the girls, or was... I don't know what you're asking, Tracy. I've read it 3 times. I don't get it. Just don't get it. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. All right. Good luck somewhere else, Mike. Let's see. What do we got here? If Richard Allen was fine, was pointing out that we've literally talked about it like almost every day that we've discussed the case since Richard Allen's been arrested. The police found the Klines, not the public. Allen probably in with child porn ring with... Yeah, I think the... something that I've pictured is that you have the Dropbox account that Keegan Kline ran that led to the largest pornography ring in Indiana state history. And is it possible that maybe Richard Allen had some kind of connection to it? And it was sort of like a service there where people would point out where somebody would be based on that, right? Yeah, it was welcoming for you, Mike. Yeah, but look at your attitude. It's not good, man. It's not good. Got to work on that a little bit. And nobody needs the goodbye post because nobody was really that interested in what you were saying. Yeah. So let's see. Zozo said, if Richard Allen swapped the Samsung phone with Keegan Kline and then wiped it to do it to Samsung, huh? What? He didn't. What do you mean wiped it to do Samsung have a restore option? Or does Samsung have a restore option, or does it need... You just click a button in the settings somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, the whole Ron Logan thing is... I've always said this. All I can say is Ron Logan is not the guy on the bridge. There are people out there that's all they think. That's definitely Ron Logan. And here's the thing. They're wrong. They're 100% wrong. There is 0 chance that's Ron Logan on the bridge. 0, okay? So, is he somebody that's at the crime scene? I don't know, maybe, Could be. Who the hell knows? Was he somebody sitting in the woods down there? I mean, I guess it's possible, right? Because there's nothing saying either way. I just don't think he is. I think Richard Allen is a lone actor, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's other people involved after Richard Allen corralled them down the hill and brought them across the creek. But I mean, how many people were bolting out of the woods over there? Yeah. Let's see. I think they knew. Yeah. When they asked people to come forward who may have something, I don't know. Phil Leslie was asked at his deposition how many people he believed were involved in the murders. Abby and Libby Lesenby provided different answers than Liggett. He indicated at least 2 people were involved. The reason Lesenby gave as his belief at least 2 people were involved in the murders was Lesenby's belief that it would be difficult. When asked if other law enforcement, he mentioned Liggett, Tony Liggett, who just the day before, under oath, claimed that only one person, Richard Allen, was involved in the murders, privately behind the scenes was saying something different. If a cult consisting of more than one person in coordinated fashion lured the girls to the bridge, which, Richard Allen would obviously be part of that cult. Listen, defense team, tell me that Richard Allen was an Odinite, and I might actually go, well, there's some interesting elements now. Because that would be a reason why they'd want to take him out in prison, because he might rat out the rest of the Odinites. Okay, that would make a little bit of sense in your story. But then that would also implicate him in the crime. So you're not doing that. So you're basically implying he's an Odinite, but that, he didn't do anything, and he's not one. Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of funny how they... Tony Liggett, who just the day before, under oath, claimed that only one person, Richard Allen, was involved. If a cult consisting of more than one person is, in a coordinated fashion, lured the girls to the bridge, abducted the girls, and then collectively were able to perform all the tasks mentioned in the previous paragraphs, that perspective would cut against Liggett's sworn claim that the murderer acted alone. Conversely, even more problematic for Liggett is that staging under oath what he, Liggett, actually believed, Abby and Libby would then land credence to the fact that the accumulation of evidence gathered by Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click strongly supported that on February 13, 2017, several men from a pagan religious cult were involved. For some reason, Liggett is obviously not interested in wanting anyone, including Judge Diener, to know the evidence strongly supports an organized pagan cult as being the killer. Therefore, sadly, it is not surprising that Liggett lied under oath when he claimed in his deposition that only one man. For some reason, Liggett obviously not interested in wanting anyone, including Judge Diener, to know that the evidence strongly supports... See, it only strongly supports that if you believe that those are runes and an F painted on a tree. I actually don't think that that's what those are. I think somebody cut the branches and intentionally laid them on there, and maybe they were just in the middle of putting the branches on to cover them up, and then realized, and then there was sound or something at the bridge, so they got the hell out of there. It was taking too long. Okay, it's okay. I'm too busy laughing stock. I got too much shit going on. It's too hard to, on this system that I've got, to get everything set up correctly. So don't worry about it. The thumbnail's good, all right? I'll try to change it just for you, though, just so you're... But thanks for letting me know. There's other stuff more important that we're discussing, though, than... Yeah. I think it's just somebody placing sticks on top of them. Well, what's even weirder, what Zozo or not Zozo, but Sports Life is saying, They said Odinites kill them, place their symbols, implicating themselves. Right. And yet, law enforcement arrested somebody who's not an Odinite, and the Odinites are so angry that he got arrested for their murder that they're trying to listen in and kill him while he's in jail. Yeah, that's so stupid. They're probably like, holy shit, somebody else got arrested for this? Oh, man. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, Mealy. Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, you're usually wrong, and that's obvious by when you type in something like, yeah, I suspect police. Popo Richard Allen could be their patsy. Oh, yeah. That's so smart and intelligent, man. I'm really thinking through this, everybody. Richard Allen is the patsy. You see, because Odinites are all part of the... Huh? You can hear me? Oh. Oh, maybe I'm kind of loud, I guess. Maybe we have neighbors. The Odinites are... Oh, yeah, the Odinites. That's it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, a patsy for what? That the police have a bunch of Odinites within their system, and therefore they need to blame it on somebody who's not one, and they also put some police in the prison to keep track of some guards in the prison to keep track of them. Yeah, give me a break. Anyway. Anyways, I'm sorry. I am really tired, you guys. I gotta be honest with you. But man, we didn't even get to a regular goal on 2 shows. That's tough. That's tough to swallow. Pretty brutal. Where are we at on the... I'm not even sure what page we were on. 44. So I guess we'll have to get back to the rest of that tomorrow. So anyways, thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.